Today we're going to go over T-sheet buttons. So we're going to go into the T-sheet, take a look at the first screen that we enter when we go into the Total eGolf Pro Shop, and go over all the buttons and the utilization of the T-sheet. For this series, I'm going to be in the Pro Shop Play of Total eGolf so that we can manipulate the system outside of the live system. So when we click on that first icon there, we're going to see our login screen. By now you should all have your 4-digit employee code. This is where you're going to enter that code to enter into the point of sale. So we'll enter that code, and it will take us directly to our T-sheet for today. You'll see that this is manipulated as it is our play system. That way we can run through transactions, and I can show you how this T-sheet works. So moving across the top here, we have a recall button here. If you were to have transactions on hold or transactions that weren't completed, you could click this button and find out which ones they are. So if we click that, you'll see no transactions on hold at this moment. Next we have our returns button. When we click the return button, we have reasons for return. So broken, damaged, no reason, not complete. So if there was some broken merchandise, we could click that. We could click that the receipt, that we didn't have a receipt, or we could actually enter a receipt manually. So for this instance, I have a receipt number here. It's going to be order number 75. We hit commit. This is just defaulting to the terminal that it was rang through on, that specific order, and it pulls up the order for that specific transaction. At that time, you'd have to enter the quantities of each item that you would want to return. So let's say he was just returning the cart there, or a green fee. Then we could go to the pay screen and return these items. So that's the returns button. This anonymous button we won't be using. At the top here, we have our customer lookup button, and this hyperlink here, this is how we're going to get into our customer contacts. Order screen, this button will take you to the order screen where we can add items and other features in here, which I will go over in a future video. Adjust float, you won't be needing to use that button, as we're not using float. Printer setup, by now all your printers should be set up. The only reason you would possibly need to come in here is for this kick button. This will kick your drawer open for end of day, or to get into the drawer. Next we have reprint edit transactions. When we click that, we can see all the transactions for a specific day. We can go back in time and load other transactions. As you can see, yesterday it looks like there were no transactions. But we can go to today, hit load, and you'll see specific transactions. We can click on those on this screen. We can mark them incomplete. We can return them from here. We can print gift receipts. We can reprint the actual receipt, or we can just exit the screen. Clicking on each individual receipt transaction, will show you what was rang through for that specific transaction on the right here. Next we have end of day. This is where we will end our or close out our day for each terminal. If you click on that, you can see some days have not been ended yet. So if we go into today, this is what end of day looks like. And then we just have a log out button that'll take us out of the point of sale. This plus and minus here, this is makes the screen larger and smaller to your liking, the T-sheet here. So we can shrink it down, or we can make it bigger. Next, this little golf club and golf ball icon. This is a T-sheet statistics, kind of a snapshot of what the day's doing. how many rounds are played, how many have been booked, potential revenue and utilization of the tee sheet. Then we have our golf course. If you have multiple courses or multiple 9 holes, you're going to see them drop down here. This sun, if we hover over it, we can see the sunrise and sunset for the day. And that works off your geographic location. We have the date here, little drop down. You can search by calendar months and move through time there. These 2 arrows move you back and forward 1 day at a time, so next day and previous day. Green button here, this refreshes. Most of us have 2 or 3 terminals, so if somebody's working on another terminal next to you and it's busy, and we want to get your tee sheet up to date with check-ins and transactions, this will refresh your tee sheet. We have the time of day here. This also works as a quick link. At any time, if you were to be in the future, as we are right now, booking a tee time, you could click this button and it'll take you back to today at that exact time. So I click that, it defaults back to today. The print button here, this brings up a print dialog. We can print starter sheets, range sheets from here. And we have a couple options to hide notes, hide price levels. We can print the tee sheet in alpha format, screenshots of the tee sheet. So this is an area to print information. This find button is going to look up people in your tee sheet for that day. So if you need to find somebody on the tee sheet on a busy day, you could go to this area. For instance, we have Mr. Jones on the tee sheet here, or Mr. Berryman here. So we could go into this area. We can search by name, phone, member ID, confirmation number. If we were to type in Berryman, hit enter or hit the find button there, we can see him on the tee sheet at 12:37. This golf course, what time he started. So you can search your entire tee sheet for customers or contacts. This modify button, this is how we modify the tee sheet. There is a little drop down here, setup tee sheet display. This is also a feature to create shotguns, edit your tee times on the left here. And I'll go over that in more detail in a future video. This does modify the tee sheet 1 day at a time. Multi-view, it's just another view of the tee sheet, a little easier to read when you're calling the tee sheet. Or you can actually work from this tee sheet too. Works the same as the other one. We can right click and see. We can book times from here and utilize this to your liking. It does just make it a little bit easier to read in multi-view. Moving down, we have our actual tee sheet here. If we click on it, we can scroll through it. On the bottom here, we also have a plus and minus. This snapshot here works as a hyperlink, so anywhere on this portion of this tee sheet down here, I can jump to in the day. So if I were to click 6 a.m. here, it's going to move me to that part of the day up top. And you can click anywhere on here. So if I click in the 4th spot at 12:37, instantly moves me to that part of the tee sheet. This last button here in the top right corner, this is a note button, or messages I should say. So this is where a manager or pro shop employees could write notes for the day about sales that are going on, or cart path only, any kind of message you want to get to your staff there. So those are the buttons on the tee sheet.